Making lab. You're going to have to do the procedural summary for Monday. When you look at the procedures, there are two sections. The second page has got the safety precautions and most of the procedure. That's the part you have to have summarized for Monday. The next page is the analysis, where you're going to do some testing with your soap. You'll be doing that on Tuesday, so you have to have that summarized for Tuesday. If it were me, I'd just do the whole darn thing in one shot and be done with it. But if you're wanting to find some way to procrastinate, there's your ticket.
Wait,
now,
this is 11 through 24?
11 through 24 you have to have summarized for Tuesday. 1 through 10 you have to have summarized for Monday. You might as well do the whole thing.
So just do it. Do this.
Okay, now, you did your calculations using an equation that was not quite balanced, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Why won't this equation balance? Well, let me ask you the question that's behind that. What has to be true to write a balanced chemical equation? So, think about it for a second, jot it down, and then I'm going to start calling people to name me at least one thing. If we go back to chapter 8, there are 3 things that have to be true for us to write a balanced chemical equation. Any of them? You can jot them down. You can just mentally think about them. Okay. Well, that's evidence that a chemical reaction has occurred. So you're in the right chapter, but wrong idea. That's okay. All right.
Must be a correct formula.
Oh, for the reactants and the products. Very good. Okay, well, we'll say you guys are sharing a brain today. That's fine. Well, Siamese twins. Yeah, you have to have the correct formula for your reactants and your products, right? It has to represent true known facts. It has to actually be things that react. And there's one other thing I can't remember, but that's not important. So, the one that I want to focus on is must have the correct formula for the reactants and products. How many of you have ever seen olive oil? Other than this nice big tub of olive oil that we have here, and I'm going to go buy more over the weekend for the lab. That is 3 liters of olive oil, minus a little bit. So, what do you know about olive oil? It comes from olives. It is greasy, as are all fats. It's got a greenish yellow color. It's got a distinct color. Okay, these are all good things. It's what? Okay, typically the 3 big producing regions of olive oil are Italy, Greece, and Spain, though there's a sizable industry in California these days. So you can get a lot of California olive oil. It's supposed to be healthy for you. Why is that? Yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah, little old Greek men on islands out in the Mediterranean drinking shot glasses full of olive oil in the morning. Actually, really good olive oil's got a nice flavor. But anyway, that's all an aside. So it's supposed to be healthy for you. Have you heard the terms saturated?
Yes.
Unsaturated, polyunsaturated, monounsaturated. What does it mean?
Well, saturated means that the fat.
Okay, well, saturated fats tend to be solids at room temperature. So, butter, saturated fat. Lard, saturated fat. Crisco, saturated fat. Unsaturated fats, whether they're poly or mono, tend to be liquids at room temperature. Soybean oil, olive oil. Vegetable oil is mostly soybean. Corn oil, canola oil. Those tend to all be more unsaturated. So, what else do you know about? We're having a good discussion about fats and oils here. This is fantastic. What else do you know? You can make mayonnaise with olive oil. You can do that at home, yes?
Oh.
I don't.
They can what?
Yes,
You can cook with it. You can eat it. These are all things that we typically eat. Now, you know, there are oils you would not eat, like motor oil. Okay.
If you could pour it out on the ground, it's like.
Yeah, sure is.
I was just
All fats and greases. Okay. So, look at your pre-lab calculations. I gave you a formula for olive oil. C55H102O6.
Yes.
Nice and simple and clean. Now, I lied to you. It is a gross oversimplification of reality. So if we look at, we do that sometimes in science. We try not to, but sometimes we do. So this is the Wikipedia article on olive oil. I would encourage you to take a look at it. I have said before, and I will say again, Wikipedia is not a final source, but it's an okay, no, it better not be. It's an okay place to start, and Wikipedia is best used if you know enough about the subject that you're looking at that you're going to know if what you're reading is complete baloney or not. If you don't know anything about the thing that you're researching, you should not be looking at Wikipedia, unless it's just to get an overview. But if you have a pretty good basis on something and you just want to check some stuff and check their sources, it's a good place. So they've got a nice article on olive oil. And there's a nice picture of that greenish yellow color we talked about. So if we come down here and we see the countries that produce it and the different categories and blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah, what I'm really interested in is this.
Hallelujah.
So, all oils and fats are composed of things called fatty acids. And you can go to a health food store and you can buy a supplement for a fatty acid. There's things, and you may have heard these terms in advertising, because these are a big thing in advertising right now in health food supplements. Linoleic acid and oleic acid and all these different fatty acids that have health benefits for us. Like our brain uses fats to make connections. I mean, you can't have a fat-free diet because your brain needs fat. If you notice there are 5 fatty acids listed, and you can't really see this on the video, but if you go to the Wikipedia article on olive oil, you can read them there. There are 5 fatty acids listed. They all have different chemical compositions. Any olive oil we take from anywhere on the planet is going to be slightly different. So if we have an olive orchard in California, and an olive orchard in Greece, and an olive orchard in Spain, and an olive orchard in Argentina, depending on their soils, depending on the climate, depending on all sorts of factors, the species of olive, the oils are going to have slightly different compositions. Now, what's going to be true of all of them? I mean, all olive oil is distinctively olive oil. You can tell olive oil. They're all going to have mostly oleic acid. That's that top one. And what they claim here, and I can't back up their numbers, but they sound reasonable to me, is that in any given olive oil, that's usually between 50 and 85% of the oil is oleic acid. The formula that I gave you here, the C55H102O6, guess what that is? It's oleic acid. Yeah. So in an actual sample of olive oil, you're also going to have linoleic, palmitic, stearic, and alpha-linoleic. You're going to have multiple different formulas. The formula that I gave you is a gross oversimplification. Okay? It represents one component, the primary component, but one component of olive oils. So, does it completely represent correct formulas for products? No, that's why it doesn't balance. You can't really balance it. If we got the actual formula for an actual sample of olive oil, it would be a much more complicated equation, but it would balance. So, we're not going to do that. But this gives you an idea of, you got pretty close. So if you look at your pre-lab calculations, we're gonna be using 12 grams of sodium hydroxide, that's lye. And here's the other neat thing. If any of you decide after doing this lab that soap making is a neat hobby that you'd like to take up, you need something to do in your spare time, you think your siblings are smelly and you'd like to make them some soap for Christmas, you want a hobby where you can go to craft fairs and sell soap. I don't know why. You want to bathe the dog. I knew a lady who made and sold soap for dogs.
My dog's allergic to
Like cat
soap.
needs
Okay, well there you go. You can start making soap at home and bathing cats. Good luck.
Like bathing in cats.
No. Okay, so if you decide that soap making is something you want to try on your own, there are some neat things online called soap calculators. What? It's a soap calculator. I don't know what's funny about that. Okay. So, my favorite is one called, it's Majestic Mountain Sage. It's a lye calculator, actually. How many of you have seen, okay, let's pause the video here. We'll stop.